Growing up, I grew up in a family of 4 boys. I was the only girl, and that really made me tough and also mature a little bit. I remember I used to love wearing weaves and wigs, and my friends would make fun of me, and I'm like, okay, it's just who I am. So I remember there was this one day, my mom, I was from church, and my mom is like, okay, you have to go buy chicken, and I'm not going to drop you. I'm like, all right, it's okay, I'll use the matatu. And she gives me the money. I go to the bus stop. I get to the bus stop. I wait for the bus. The bus comes. I get into the bus, and I sat behind. I had my earphones on to continue picking more passengers, more passengers. And I remember being disturbed by, excess passengers. You know how back then it was the Mishuki laws were not there, so people were excess in the bus. And the bus continued moving. I'm still listening to my song. I remember I was listening to a song by Neo, Miss Independent. And the bus is moving, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was a loud voice, boom. And in my head, I'm like, okay, where has this sound? What is happening? And people are screaming and are shouting. Everyone is coming behind, and I'm like, what? It was then I realized the bus we were in was on fire. And worst thing is, the fire started right from the door. So there's no way you can just exit through the door. So everyone was coming behind, trying to. I remember there was this guy who tried to break the exit door. And the whole time, the whole bus is on fire. I realized now it's getting hot. I can't breathe. I had on a dress, and I had a jacket. And I saw a guy try to get out through the main door where the bus, you know how the buses are. So he tries to exit via the door, and he caught fire. And I'm like, I am not going to put myself through that. And after seeing that guy running, getting out of the door, and he's on fire, I was like, no, I'm not going to put myself through that. So I just given up. And in my moment of weakness, that's when God showed his strength. So I look up, and I see a window, and I'm like, if my head can fit there, the rest that I don't, it will fit. So I squeeze myself, and I jump out of the window. And I remember I hit hard on this other side. And the good thing is where the bus went and stopped, it was next to a car wash. So those guys really came through. And I get out of the matatu, and I'm like, what? My hair is on fire. I had a weave on, so my hair was on fire. So there was this one guy from the car wash who just washed me with sewage water, because next again there was a sewage line over there. And that's when the adrenaline hit, and I'm like, what just happened? I just came out from a burning matatu, and all I could think is, I'm alive, I'm alive. I remember shouting, I'm alive, I'm alive. And I remember I got to the hospital. It was in Mama Lucy. That was the emergency response hospital. So my parents come, and they took me out of that hospital and took me to Aga Khan. And I remember that first night in my room, and I'm like, wow, what just happened? And that's when my healing journey started, or self-love journey started. And it wasn't easy. That night was the moment I realized. I looked at myself, and I'm like, wow. I have scars. My face was really burnt. I have a birthmark. My birthmark was gone. And for those people who know me know that my birthmark makes me who I am. And I felt the world has shattered. I felt lost. Everything I knew, everything I wanted to aspire to do, I wanted to be a model, I wanted to be in the media industry. How will I be a model with scars? That was going through my head. And it made me feel lost, to be honest. I was lost. I stayed in hospital for 2 months Because while my face was a bit healing faster, my hand on the other side wasn't. So, but eventually, I got out of the hospital and I went home. And going home, for my parents, they thought now I'm okay. But then I was not okay deep down. So I continued staying home. I didn't used to go out during the day. I was waiting during the giza ikiingia. That's when I'm like, okay, let me go take a walk. I developed this routine. I used to go watch the sunset a bit and then wait for the darkness to come, and then again I come out. Like I didn't want anywhere I would meet people or anything. And when I got home, I really hated mirrors. And I told my parents, because in our house, there are, some mirrors. I told my mom, you know what? You will have to bring down all those mirrors. And yeah, she did. One day I decided, okay, it's been so long since I've gone outside during the day. So I gathered all my strength, all I had, and I'm like, because I was healing a bit, but then my hand was taking time. My face had a little bit, now it's scars. So I'm like, okay, let me go buy the fruits, because I was eating a lot of fruits. That day I decided, I told my mom, you know what, let me go buy the fruits instead of you go buy the fruits. So I walk, and I remember passing some boda guys, and one of them goes like, huh? Check yule. So I'm still, and the boda guys where they were, it's where like on the other side, that's where I'm like crossing the road, I go buy the fruits. And then another one says, huyu alikuwa amejaribu kujibleach, ika backfire. I remember just turning around and going back home. It was then I realized, yeah, I had healed a little bit, but I had like internal wounds. Like me getting out of hospital meant I was okay, but I wasn't. And that's when it really hit me, because those guys speaking like that, in my mind, I'm like, they don't know me. Why would they be so mean? So I went back home. I really cried. I cried a lot that day. And I told myself, you know what? Those guys didn't even know me, but they have the audacity to talk to someone they don't even know what they're going through. So I told myself, this will be your turning point also. As much as they've talked badly and it has affected you, you're going to have to pick up yourself. Because as much as I had gone out, I had given myself strength, like, I can do this, I realized it's more of an inside job. I had a journal, I used to write a lot, and I lost a lot of friends, by the way, in the process. I didn't want to be associated with people. I mean, are these the same people who are going to judge me? I have scars. So I really closed up. I didn't want to share things. And I did hit depression. And picking myself up wasn't easy. And having to realize, by the way, you can do this actually. So in my search for, or in my quest for like trying to understand what had really happened, I was told, or the information that I gathered, that someone had gotten into the matatu with a jerrycan of petrol. And in my head, I'm like, how ignorant is that? How do you get into a bus full of people with a jerrycan of petrol? And we see it even these days, people in the bus with gas cylinders. I realized there was need for awareness with such kind of things, and it was then my baby, I call her my baby because she's still in the making, my foundation for road safety. It's called Road Accident Survivors Campaign Initiative, RASCI, because what I had gone through, for me, I was like, I need to create more awareness, not even for the road safety, but more so for the survivors, the healing process for me, finding myself, stepping out of my comfort zone, and realizing, by the way, we all have scars. Mine just happened to be physical. Life will throw different things at you, but the most important thing is knowing who you are, loving yourself, knowing your value, embracing yourself just the way you are. No matter what life throws at you, it can be, in this case, a road accident. It can be you've lost someone. It's always good to pick yourself up, embrace it. Don't try and run away from it, because at some point I did. My name is Susan Wahu, scars and all, this is who I am. And the world is not ready for the awesomeness I'm bringing.